Hello and welcome back. Today I decided to do a different kind of video that I haven't done before. This is going to be more of like a reactionary video, and it'll give you more insight into what kind of books I like to read, what I usually put on my TBR, and what books I'm not really super interested in. If you follow Goodreads, they recently posted the Goodreads members' top books in the last 5 years. These are like the 60 most popular or like most shelved, most read, that sort of thing, books in the last 5 years. And me being a curious person, I wanted to go through the list. I wanted to react to the books, and then I also wanted to kind of categorize the books in books that I've read, books that would be on my TBR, and books I have no interest in, and see where I fall on like the popularity scale. It's gonna be just a quick, short, chill video. There'll probably be some statistics at the end, but let's dive in. Pulling up the post, and we're just gonna go starting from 60 all the way to 1. The first picture is 60 through 51, and we have Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. I actually used to own this book, and I unhauled it when I was moving, but I would definitely still add that to my TBR. We have Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. I do want to read this. I've heard this memoir is incredible, and people usually cry when they read it, so I would like to read that one. Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. I've actually read that, and I really enjoyed it. Then 57 is American Dirt by Janine Cummings. I've never heard of this book before, so I would probably just shelve it under like not interested for now. In 5 Years by Rebecca Surley. I'm not really interested in this. 55 is Twisted Games by Anna Huang. I probably will not read an Anna Huang book, just knowing how I know the general synopsis, and it doesn't sound like something that would super interest me. So that one's probably going to be a pass, and I'm sure it's not the first time we're going to see her name on this list. 54 is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have read this. I read it earlier this year and I really enjoyed it. 53, Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I feel like I would have to be in the right mood for this, but I've never felt drawn to read a Carly Fortune book, so it probably would go under like not interested. I don't know why, but it just seems like the adult version of like The Summer I Turned Pretty, even though I know it's not that. Next is The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. I actually have read this. I've read the whole Cruel Prince series. I wonder, since that's the third book, the other two are probably on this list then too. 51 is The Women by Kristen Hanna. I'm usually not a historical fiction person. That's not like the genre I usually gravitate towards, but I do really love Kristen Hanna's writing, and I've been recommended The Women by multiple sources in my real life, so that one will go to the TBR. Next, we're going to be going through the 50 through 41 section. So 50 is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I don't read a ton of mystery thriller type books, so I would probably put this under not interested. It's something that I might consider in the future, but right now I have no interest in reading it. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I've read it and I loved it. It was so much fun. 48 is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I have read this book. It was not my favorite. I feel like Tessa Bailey's writing is just a little too straightforward, simple to the point for me, whereas I tend to lean more towards romances that are like Abby Jimenez or Emily Henry-esque, where they're more literary, and then like the romance is sprinkled throughout. It was fine. I did go through it very quickly, so if you're looking for a fast, fun read, that would probably scratch the itch. 47 is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I've never read a Frida McFadden book, and I don't think I will. But I do have a friend who loves her books, so I always just ask her what they're about, and then she gets so excited to tell me, so I'd rather have that. Number 46, None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. Okay, I have heard quite a bit about this book. I'm actually kind of curious about it, so I would shelve it under TBR for now, because I don't know. It sounds like it would be right up my alley, at least like for the mystery side of things, and like it's like a slower burn from what I've heard. So that one I'd consider. 45 is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I do actually want to read this because one of my close friends, he really loved the book. And I know it's very polarizing on BookTube, and me being the curious person that I am, I kind of want to know. So maybe I'll like pick it up on audio or something, but I would shelve that under TBR. The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden, same thing as earlier, not interested. Oh gosh, 43, Haunting Adeline. I've heard so much about this book, and I've heard enough that my curiosity is satiated. I don't need to read the book. Not interested. 2, The Wicked King by Holly Black. Well, there we go. I'm sure Cruel Prince will be on here then too, but I have read that one. And 41 is Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. I will probably not read another Colleen Hoover book. It's one of those things where I read Verity and I read It Ends With Us. I hated Verity so much. It Ends With Us was not my favorite thing ever either. I just don't think her books are for me, and I find a lot of the elements in it problematic, not well fleshed out, but it's not the type of books that I want to read. I'm not the target audience, and that's fine. Now we're going to go through 40 to 31. We have another Kristen Hanna book at number 40, which is The Four Winds, and I would actually be interested in reading this one. 39 is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I actually tried reading this book a few years ago, but I just wasn't in the right headspace. That whole year of reading was just kind of wonky, but I want to give that another try because I've never actually read a Bachman book, and that's kind of criminal at this point because people love Bear Towns so much, and A Man Called Ove, all those books. 38 is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I love that book. I have it up on my shelf. It was like my favorite book of last year. One of them. It was great. I enjoyed it. 36, The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I think I'm going to pass on this. Kind of like Frida McFadden, I feel like Geneva Rose is very similar in that sense. Like, would love to hear about the story beats from a friend or someone else, but I don't know if I want to experience it for myself. The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. That's a no for me. Especially, like, I heard this romance book is like well over 400 pages, which is, first off, too long. Second off, I've heard like very negative things about this book from most of the booktube reviewers that I like to watch, so I'll probably just pass on that. The Maid by Nita Prose. I actually have heard great things about this book. It was like critically acclaimed for a while. I just don't think I have interest in reading it because it came out a little bit ago and I missed the hype and I haven't really thought about it until seeing it on this list. So that's a not interested. 33 is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Absolutely. Read that book. Loved it. It's incredible. 32 is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. One of my favorite books I've read this year. You'll probably see me talk about it more. I loved that book. I love it so much. And now that I know that we're getting another book, which is Sunrise of the Reaping, I've been screaming inside. I'm so excited. Can't believe we're getting another prequel. Cannot wait to see what kind of commentary Suzanne Collins has in that book. 31 is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I don't think I will read a Hannah Grace book. I did try to read Icebreaker. I read the first 20 pages of it, and these college kids talked like literal 15-year-olds, and I could not. It's too much for me, and also I heard there's like a brew suit involved. I'm good. Not interested. Okay, we're about halfway through the list now. 30 is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I will pass. I feel like I'm very picky and specific when it comes to like romantasy books or fantasy and romance books merged together. And it's like a super long book that I'm not sure I'm gonna like, so not interested. 29, The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I have read that. I actually liked it. 28 is The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I think I'm gonna pass on this one too. It's YA, it's mystery thriller type, so not a genre I read a ton of, and I don't read a ton of YA anymore either, so it's just kind of I'm not the target audience for that either. 27, Twisted Love by Anna Huang. That's a no for me, I'm good. 26 is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I have read this book. It was not my favorite of that duo's catalog, but it was fine. 25, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I just have to say it. I'm not a Sarah J. Maas fan. I'm so sorry. But I feel like I have room to say it. I did try quite a few of her books. I read 6 Sarah J. Maas books. The first 3 in ACOTAR, first 3 in Throne of Glass. It's not for me. I don't like her writing. I can't do it. I cannot get into it. It is not for me. So that is a pass. Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I probably won't read this one either. 23, Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. Okay. I read Fourth Wing, which is probably a spoiler for the rest of this list, but you know it's going to be on here. I read Fourth Wing, and I thought it was fun. Definitely not, like, groundbreaking or something brand new that we've never seen before. I do love how it's gotten so many people into reading, but it's one of those things where I don't care enough to continue with the rest of the story. 22 is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I love this book so much. It's my favorite memoir. I love it so much. I can't even begin to explain it. I wrote an entire article about it in my college newspaper because of my love for it. It's great. I hope everyone reads it. 21 is Happy Place by Emily Henry. My favorite Emily Henry book on the list. Makes me very happy. We're gonna do 20 to 11 now. So first up is The Last Thing I Never Told You by Laura Dave. I think the title sounds familiar, the author definitely doesn't, but I'm gonna shelve this under not interested for now. 19 is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. It's very cute. I enjoyed it. 18 is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, one of my 5-star reads of last year. It's very well written and I enjoyed it a lot. 17, Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. One of the most surprising books that I've read this year. I enjoyed it so much. Like, probably my second favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid's novel now. Great. 16, A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Not interested. 15, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Okay, that's interesting. That one's above Happy Place. Like, okay. I still liked Book Lovers, but it's probably my least favorite Emily Henry book. But I want to reread it because I read it when I was in a weird headspace. So I'm like, if I read it again, how much would I like it compared to the others? 14 is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. Also a pass. 13 is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. I read this book this year. I thought it was good, not great. It's also weird because no one talks about this, but like it genuinely bothered me that the freaking dog in that book had a perspective for like a few chapters. And I'm like, what is going on here? What is happening? I did not like it. Whatever. 12, The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Getting a lot of authors on this list that I just don't have interest in. 11, Beach Read by Emily Henry. My first Emily Henry. Love the book. I have read that. Yes. Oh my gosh, we're in top 10 territory now. Okay. This one, number 10, makes me so happy. It's People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I love this book. I love this book so, so much. And I feel like it's very underrated. Like, everyone doesn't like this book out of like Emily Henry's list. And that makes me so sad because it's like, it's probably either my first or second favorite. Happy Place and that one switch. Number 9 is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm interested in this one either. Ooh, it makes me sad because I know a lot of people love it, but it's YA and mystery, and I'm like, The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I feel like if I were to read a Lucy Foley book, it would be this one. So maybe I'll think about that one. 7 is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I'm good on that one. Okay, I'm just popping in here because I totally missed one that I was reading earlier. This is number 37, Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Von Pelt. It is on my TBR. I want to read it. Okay, number 6 is The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. I have read it. I enjoyed it. Number 5 is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Yes, I have read that book, and I really liked it. It's due for a reread soon. Number 4 is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I, of course, have read that book, and I really like it. So I'm glad that's on this list so high up. I'm surprised that that's like the highest one up here for Taylor Jenkins Reid. And also, Evelyn Hugo's not on this list, which like that's her most famous, so that's interesting. Number 3, no surprise here, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I have read this one, thought it was okay, I enjoyed it. 2 is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I love this book. I'm so genuinely shocked and so happy that it is number 2 on this list. Like, I know a lot of people give it crap for being like preachy and yada yada yada, but like the questions and conversations that it opens up is the best part of the book. Like, if you actually sit and think about like the different ways your life could have unfolded, like think about it. Think about all the different life decisions you could have made and what it means like carrying on with the choices that you end up going through. It's just so good. It's so good. I enjoyed it. Number 1 actually does really surprise me on this list. It is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. What? I didn't realize that one was that popular. I don't know. Again, I'm not like a super big like thriller person, but I don't know. I probably won't end up getting to it if I haven't really thought about it much. Okay, with that being said, that was all 60 books that were like Goodreads top members books in the last 5 years. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a reactionary thing, go through all of the different books, and I will put the stats on the screen here. If you were keeping track, it looks like 25 books I have read, which is about 42% of the entire list. I have about 27 books that I'm not interested in, which is just over 45% of the list. So there's like an even split of books I have read or like I'm not interested in, and then only 8 books fall under would add to my TBR or on my TBR category. That's kind of interesting to see. Like, I guess I know my taste so well to the point that I know what I wouldn't like versus what I would like. Obviously, there was a lot of Frida McFadden books, there was a lot of Sarah J. Maas, there was a lot of Emily Henry, who I do love, and a lot of Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I'm not like surprised that a lot of big name authors were on this. Kind of like, I really do enjoy making like statistical breakdowns of like bookish things though, so this was kind of like an excuse for me to pull out my Canva and to make something fun. But if you have read any books from this list, please leave the number down below. I'm curious like how many books people have read, and then if any of them interest you, let me know. But please follow me on Instagram. I go by the same name over there, Pages and Pastimes. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!